It's some Monday madness, mayhem, mania all around the Major League Baseball free agency. Rumors swirling, chaos continues, and welcome into PHLY Phillies podcast. Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington, Tyler Zulli. Happy to have you guys here on this Monday, and we've got a lot to unpack from the weekend. The rumors continue. It's feeling like a little bit of some high school drama with all the rumors and speculations that we're hearing around Major League Baseball. But before we even dive into that, Jamie, how are you feeling? We had an Eagles bye week, which I know you got a chance to have a day off from the post-game show, but also just a nice weekend with the fam, I hope?
Yeah, it was got the first fire of the year going yesterday out on the deck, which was something I always love. Probably overserved myself by a bourbon or two. I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, the cousins and the kids came down. A couple of the girls' friends came over, and they were running around like maniacs in the backyard. So our theory was get them in a herd.
Okay.
And that way it gives the parents some more independence.
I like that.
Yeah. So like, as long as like, you know, some bigger kids are there that can kind of keep an eye on things.
Strength in numbers too.
Yes, exactly. So set those animals outside and let them run wild. And we got to sit around and I watched NFL Red Zone all day long. Made some chili. It was just a delightful fall Sunday.
Oh my gosh, it is definitely chilly weather. It's sweaters, hot chocolate, it's chili soup.
Yes, actually, Addie, my wife, made the kids some hot chocolate. And I was like,
yes.
Oh man, we're like quickly approaching winter here. And then you walk outside this morning, everything's frosted over. And I was like, see, you'll get to know this about me. I hate winter unless I'm like skiing. It's just an inconvenience. Like if I could wake up on a Saturday morning and look out and like there's snow covering everything and you don't have like life to get to and things to get in your way, then I would enjoy it. But I don't.
Yeah.
You know? It's always just a major inconvenience. So those are my hot takes on winter. It sucks.
I do thoroughly enjoy snow days when you are snowed in for those snow days and can enjoy it from the window.
Sure.
I definitely don't like being out in it. I do actually just enjoy the winter because I'm a big like sweater and I like winter clothes.
I like hoodies.
Yeah, I like winter clothes, which is like weirdly what I go based off of. But also there's just something so... like the holidays and the cold go hand in hand. So the winter makes me excited for the holiday season of things like watching Hallmark movies and sitting by the fire and drinking hot
Hallmark
chocolate.
bingo cards today.
Right. So though I don't like the actual cold, I hate feeling cold. It's such a bad feeling. But I love what it brings in the season. So this weekend was a good one.
Yeah,
it was laid back. It was, it's always nice when the Eagles don't have a game because having a bye week means you can watch the rest of football games stress-free. And I was laughing at, the Ravens fans or, looking at the Texans who were surprised. So, yeah, it was a good weekend to watch some games. I know, Ed, welcome in the chat. You're saying yesterday it proved you are a fantasy football god. We love that for you. Is this pants temperature for Jamie? The key question? Yes, Jamie is wearing pants today. And so is Tyler, actually, guys. They're both in pants, which you never see that happening on the same day. One of them is usually in shorts, actually. Wow, they both got covered toes and covered ankles.
No socks.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but yeah. So, yes, great question, Ed, because it's getting cold outside when Tyler and Jamie are both wearing pants as Tyler adjusts his pants right now. I'm just going to put you on the spot. But, yeah, it's finally winter, and with the winter has come chaos. So, as you guys are trickling in, hit that like button, join the conversation, because this weekend, while we had a chance to breathe a little bit with an Eagles bye week, I don't know about you, it's hard to breathe around all the Major League Baseball rumors that were swirling because it just got me thinking about where are we going to see Aaron Nola next year? And right now, it's hard and painful to say this because Aaron Nola has been linked to a possible fit for the Atlanta Braves. The Braves are very interested in going above and beyond to bring in a starting pitcher, and they're willing to pay whatever it takes for a free agent starting pitcher. And Aaron Nola's name has been linked in the conversation with the Atlanta Braves. And the thought of Aaron Nola with the Braves it's hard to wrap my head around. But Jamie, your thoughts on this as the news was breaking and you saw the information coming in?
Just right before the show, Ken Rosenthal put it out on his Athletic article, and it's the title of the article is like what I'm hearing around Major League Baseball, and Nola was quickly a topic in it, and this is what Rosenthal says: of the pitchers available, righty Aaron Nola is the most intriguing fit for the Braves. Nola is close with Braves pitching coach Rick Kranitz, who was with the Phillies from 2016 to 18. And Rosenthal goes on to say, as a native of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who attended LSU, he might prefer to sign with a team in the South. The Phillies remain engaged with Nola, but their inability to sign him thus far might be telling. Dave Dombrowski, the team's president, had been aggressive in his past, keeping Chris Sale and Nathan Eovaldi with the Red Sox. He might prefer a free agent with more powerful swing and miss stuff than Nola, perhaps left-hander Blake Snell, the likely NL Cy Young Award winner. So it's interesting that he notes Blake Snell because Bob Nightingale also notes Blake Snell, which we'll get into in a minute. But this is the first time I've heard really substantially Nola mentioned with the Atlanta Braves, and it makes a lot of sense for the Atlanta Braves. It's nauseating as a Phillies fan, the idea of seeing him in a Braves uniform, because the Braves, as young as they are, as good as they are, they're going to be around for a while. They're going to be a perennial playoff team that you're going to have to, worry about in your division. And to see your best homegrown pitcher since Cole Hamels leave for them would be pretty disgusting. I'm not going to lie. So we'll see, far from a sure thing here. And Aaron Nola is going to have a lot of suitors on the market. But when Ken Rosenthal speaks, I tend to listen because he's as tied in as anybody really is. So he's not saying that from nothing.
Yeah.
He's heard those whispers, and it passes the smell test. It passes, the credibility test with Ken Rosenthal, and I hope it doesn't happen. I hope he goes to the AL or far away in the NL. Just get out of our division.
Yeah, and I know welcome in Spiral Out, Mickey. Hello to you guys as well. Mickey's talking about it's Nola to the Braves is worse than diarrhea. It is awful to think about. Aaron Nola in a Braves uniform on the mound for them, and then Ed, right, you're saying I know he's got to do what he's got to do, but that will be some snake shit if he goes there. And yes, it would feel very wrong. But I know as you're talking about, Ken Rosenthal continues to just share some insight and has cited unnamed sources, which also makes me think, okay, these might be some serious conversations that we're not even able to name the sources.
Unnamed sources, a.k.a. Alex Anthopoulos,
exactly.
the GM of the
Unnamed
Braves.
sources actually makes me more nervous. I'd rather hear who exactly said it, but he was citing unnamed sources that Atlanta, of course, as we're talking about, is prepared to exceed their current highest AAV for the right pitcher. They're looking to exceed that $22 million a year. We know Aaron Nola is a guy that the Phillies and Dave Dombrowski have cited they are actively trying to and would like to retain, but financially has always been the biggest question. If the Braves are willing to exceed $22 million a year to be able to bring in Aaron Nola, Ed, as you're saying, if they have more money on the table, if he's got more money on the table down in Atlanta, unfortunately, it's scary to think about, but that could be possible. Welcome in Justin Harris as well. We're talking Aaron Nola. We will get into the other names, Blake Snell, Rhys Hoskins, Nick Castellanos, Shohei Ohtani, but right now, Aaron Nola to me is the one that jumps out the most. It actually does make sense for Aaron to go to Atlanta financially. Team-wise, you're going into a top team in the league.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
But for us, I just don't like it.
All perspectives, it just sucks for Phillies fans if that does become a reality because, So John Morosi was on MLB Network this morning, and he went on to say that there is mutual interest between Nola and the Phillies, but the sides are still very far apart. So, the writing on the wall says they're going to try and save face publicly, I think, by saying that we were interested in him. And, I'm sure they do love Aaron Nola and all that. Morosi said it's a 50-50 shot that he's going to find better deals out there. I would think it's better than 50-50 that he finds a better deal than the Phillies are probably willing to offer. But then Rosenthal goes on to say all that stuff. So it certainly appears as though Just reading the tea leaves here on the hot stove that Aaron Nola is going to be pitching elsewhere next year because as I forget who it was, Heyman or Nightingale on Friday said, yeah, he's probably going to get $200 million. And I just don't see a scenario where the Phillies are paying him $200 million. Now that $200 million, they might apply to Blake Snell or something. But given that they were so far apart last year in spring training when they tried to get an extension done, I don't know if this year's performance from Aaron Nola made them realize like, oh, we have to go above and beyond where we were off last year. Like, I don't know if this season was worth that additional, like, say, $40 or $50 million from the Phillies.
Yeah. And listen, Aaron Nola, we've heard his name brought up. Everybody's interested in Aaron Nola. Obviously, the Cardinals have started expressing interest before the season was even over. The Dodgers, every team, because he is one of the top, as we talked about, durability. He is the durable, and I was thinking of the bunny that's banging the drums in the battery commercials. He's the durable starting pitcher that's available. And
the Energizer
one of
Bunny.
Yes, there you go, Jamie. Yeah. So Aaron Energizer Bunny Nola is without a doubt a top pitching prospect. And I do agree with you, Justin Harris. You're asking, would we be scared of Nola in Atlanta? I love Nola, but definitely wouldn't be scared of him. Just would be gross. I think it would just be gross. I don't think it's a situation of like, oh no, it's Aaron Nola, but it would just be weird.
It's not like shaking in your boots, but it's like, oh, the Braves just got better.
And it's also weird because it's going to be hard enough to think about Aaron Nola with another team. I mean, what was Philadelphia baseball before Aaron Nola, Rhys Hoskins? It's been a long time since we've seen. 2013
he was drafted?
Yes, and remember, 2013, I was in college still. Like, let's think about where things were.
Yeah, I was in college too. I was hip.
In 2013, we were still roaming college campuses, maybe roaming for different stuff. Yeah, maybe for different reasons.
Going to frat parties and keg parties.
TikTok wasn't around. What else was back in 2013? Were even Teslas a thing at that point?
I think
Not
I still
publicly.
had a Facebook account in
I think we were still on, Facebook was definitely popular. MySpace had been going at that point.
Relatively
but it was still around.
But I think I was
Snapchat was popular at that point. Yeah, I mean, a lot has changed since 2013. Him and both of them were in 2014. That Nola and Rhys were picked up. So, yeah, that 2014 season, ever since then, we've had Phillies, Nola, Phillies, Hoskins, and it's weird to think about them without either of those guys. So
Mickey says if he goes to the Mets or the Braves, he must be booed forever. I wonder what the return welcome would be.
Yeah.
I don't know if if he comes back as a Brave, I don't think he gets booed, but I could be wrong.
Actually, I feel like
in game, I feel like he would get booed, but I don't think taking the mound like Aaron Nola.
You think fans would boo Aaron Nola?
This is Philadelphia, right?
It is.
It's always on the table.
It's always possible in Philadelphia.
It would be like the overriding thing, but I think it's certainly on the table as a possibility.
I think if he's with the Mets or Braves, it would increase the chances of getting booed without a doubt.
I think any other team.
He might get a little bit of like.
He doesn't
some light scattered clapping.
He would get applause.
I think Rhys, without a doubt, gets more of an applause.
Even if he's a Brave or a Met? That's the part that makes it. Yeah, it depends
on who you're playing with. So Tyler just reminded us of the players drafted in the first round of 2014 draft. Wow. You had Kyle Schwarber, Aaron Nola, Jeff Hoffman, Trey Turner, all picked in 2014. That was a great year. That was my college graduation year. What a great year for 2014 athletes coming into the pros. But it is insane. He was drafted 7th overall in 2014. Nola was. Rhys was also drafted in 2014 , right?
I think he might have been
and then
15?
Was sent to the minors in 2014, if I remember, and then picked up.
I think he was. He might have been the year after, regardless. Spiral Out and Matt Deckard are talking about Jason Worth's scenario. When you talk about like Philadelphia sports stories over the years, Jason Worth getting like vilified for taking the bag, as the kids say, from the Washington Nationals is one I'll never understand. Like Jason Worth was not only was he awesome as a Philly and helped you win a World Series, but like the dude made bank. And the Phillies didn't think he was worth paying. And I think both sides were completely justified in that decision. But, like, vilifying Jason Worth, because I remember he came back and, like, he did something with a fan on the right field line as a national. And everybody was like, he's a monster, he's a creep. he didn't give the ball to a kid or something. I forget what it was. Oh, he yelled at a fan because he was trying to catch a pop fly and there was like fan interference. And I think he yelled at the father and son, and everybody made Jason Worth. It was just like, what's he supposed to do? Say no to a $140 million deal or whatever it was at the time that he signed?
Listen, Jason knew his worth, but I'm bummed.
Oh, there you go. Mickey Durkin saying 2014.
I knew it was 2014 because I remember
rounder.
that year very clearly. Like I said, it was a very big year for sports, not just because that's the year I graduated college. But yeah, Hoskins was also a 5th-round pick in 2014.
Ashley said.
That's a good reason to hate Jason Worth.
He was a jerk when tried to get an autograph as a kid. Yeah. A lot of baseball players can be jerks. That does not surprise me at all.
That is very consistent, actually, for how baseball players are. But I will say, I do think if I was betting, I would bet that Rhys Hoskins gets a round of applause. I won't say anyone's getting like a standing ovation, but gets a nice round of applause. Maybe some Hoskins jerseys. Aaron Nola has less chance.
Ooh,
if I'm taking the over-under.
It's just such a gross thought. I really hope somebody else overpays them.
Where would you be okay with
the Braves don't spend money like that
him
typically.
Going and not wanting
I'd
to
love
boo
for
him.
him to go to the AL so I just never have to see him again. I want him out of the NL East. Somebody like the Dodgers, if they miss out on Ohtani, I wonder how aggressive. They need some pitching. It was their downfall last year. Clayton Kershaw, I don't know how many times you can keep running that horse back to the same body of water and expecting a different result. Yeah, I'm okay with them in a lot of places, just not in Atlanta. That's just even New York. Because New York, the Mets are such a disgraceful failure of an organization. Like if he went there, I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
But the Braves would be the one because they're a really well-run baseball team. They also don't typically spend like that unless it's, a Matt Olson. They have such a good farm system that they usually lock people up to well below market value deals. It's rare that they go out and spend $210 million on a starting pitcher. So, maybe we'll see. It does make sense for them to do that finally because I think if they get Aaron Nola, I think they would probably be the odds-on favorite to win, have in terms of World Series odds next year. So when you think about it like that, if you're Alex Anthopoulos and the Dickies, is it Cox Communication and Turner or whoever owns them, it might be time now to go like, all right, screw it, all in. Mm-hmm. So definitely one to keep an eye on as we approach the owners' meetings in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks.
It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah.
There's no Tyler. There's only Zulli. You're saying
favorite. Tyler says. Well, then they're definitely even more so if they get Aaron Nola.
So there's no Tyler. There's only Zulli is saying in the chat when athletes leave for the bag, it definitely does depend on what team they go to. If they go to division rival, I agree. If he goes to an NL team in general, there's probably going to be some boos. Spiral Out's also saying Nola will definitely get some boos as well. Of course, yes, the Braves are already a favorite, as is, before even adding Aaron Nola to the roster, if that was to be the case. Plus 700 favorite that they are as of today, which, makes it even that much more annoying.
The Dodgers are right
on their heels, if he was going to go there.
Which makes sense.
The Dodgers, who are right below the Braves as a favorite, also interested in Aaron Nola. They're a plus 750 favorite for next year, but the Dodgers, it might be the money that has them falling short because, as reports have reminded us and indicated, the Dodgers have yet to invest more than $50 million guaranteed in a single free agent pitcher under Andrew Friedman, with the exception of Trevor Bauer. So with the rumors swirling about what Nola's looking for, that $200 million 7-year deal, probably not going to be a deal that the Dodgers are able to make. It'd be better to see him in LA than in Atlanta. But if the Dodgers can't cough up some money, then Nola's going to be running. I was going to try to figure out a rhyme, but I lost it. Going to be running to Atlanta.
Yeah. That's probably why he's gone from Philly, because as we kind of keep mentioning teams, like a lot of them make sense. And, Yamamoto is an unknown, expensive gamble. Blake Snell, I don't know if MBD's in here, but he might get triggered.
His ears are probably itching somewhere.
But Blake Snell, like those three are it. And then you're taking a significant downgrade, with Sonny Gray or Montgomery or, some of those guys we've talked about in the past week. So Yeah, he's gonna go get his money. So speaking of the Dodgers, and we'll get to the Blake Snell stuff. I was just watching John Morosi's hit on MLB Network before the show today, and an interesting little nugget came out on the Shohei Ohtani watch. Now, if you're unfamiliar, Shohei is not going to pitch next year. He's strictly going to be a DH, and then hopes to resume pitching the following year. But a lot of people have always said, "Oh, Shohei wants to stay on the West Coast, so he's closer to Japan." That's been like an overriding thing. Now, Morosi does go on to say that the Dodgers do remain the favorite to sign Shohei Ohtani. But while we're talking about disgusting Atlanta Braves rumors, this sent chills down my spine because now the news coming out on Shohei Ohtani is that geography is not a concern of his, and he wants to join a quality team with a chance to win. Morosi went on to mention 2 teams, which I don't think John Morosi's just throwing a dartboard at all the teams in the league and going, "Oh, whatever it lands on, I'll mention them today." The 2 teams he mentioned in his segment were the Chicago Cubs and the Atlanta Braves. Now, we just talked about Aaron Nola being kind of outside the box move for the Braves to make in terms of that money. Do all of a sudden I think they're going to go spend potentially $450 to $500+ million? I don't. But Morosi did mention him. He said the word out of Ohtani's camp is that they want to get to the best possible team while still making an obscene amount of money. So, like, if the Braves are really going to financially push all in, maybe Aaron Nola takes a way back burner. If they get involved with Shohei Ohtani, I will quit baseball. I will quit rooting for Major League Baseball because that would be filthy. So two teams, that tells me the Braves are being aggressive. The word out of the GM meetings, whether it's Morosi or Rosenthal, they're possibly looking to spend, and that's terrifying.
It is. So now it's become a race for Shohei Ohtani of who can afford him, because he is obviously expected to land the largest deal.
5 or 6 teams that can actually
12-year, $528 million is the estimate, according to the latest of rumors. So there's been so many different teams that have been in the conversation. Now, the Giants and the Yankees tossed their names out there as well, but don't know if they'll have reportedly said, financially, of course, is always the issue for everybody. Another team that's come up, Bob Nightingale actually was saying this, that some executives have predicted he'll end up with the Rangers or Cubs. I know Mickey Durkin, you were saying that in the chat as well, with him wanting to go to a winner. Yes, and that's what some executives have predicted, air quotes, for those of you listening on podcast platforms. Whatever that means. So if he doesn't re-sign with the Angels, and that's a big if, and I don't think he is either. Yeah. The Dodgers have also been another team that's obviously been in the hunt, as we've talked about. A lot of logic is saying the Dodgers, of course, would be a great fit, as we were just talking about. Much like Atlanta, they're the number 2 front runner for next season, according to odds. So there's been those conversations, but the Cubs continuously are a team as well. I know, Matt Decker, you're saying the Cubs are close, question mark. The Cubs have been consistently very active as well. We've heard their names with some other players who we're going to talk about today too, that they've been shopping pretty hard. So with that big deal that's looking to be landed, interesting that the Braves, the Dodgers, the Rangers, the Cubs seem to be the front runners, and then some others that have just tossed their names out again, like the Giants or the Yankees, because everybody's trying to at least see what they can do. But one team actually said they're not going to try to go after Shohei Ohtani. That's the Boston Red Sox. So their insider, Alex Spire of the Boston Globe, did say an update and in quotes said, "Let's get this out the way. Boston looks like an unlikely landing spot for Ohtani." So as every other team has been saying, we're going to try to toss our name into the hat. We'll see what happens. The Red Sox aren't actively pursuing him, it seems, at this time. At one point, they were expected to heavily pursue Ohtani this winter, but right now looks like they have moved in a different direction and are not pursuing him. So although we don't know who is interested, right now Boston has taken their name out of the hat.
The 3 that obviously make sense are the New York Yankees, the Los Angeles Dodgers, And the Texas Rangers appear to be getting named a lot. Now, Seattle Mariners were discussed a lot.
I have heard Seattle also.
Because they are still partially owned by Nintendo, and there was belief that because of the Japanese connection with Nintendo, there was a comfortability there. Plus,
do we
Ichiro.
really believe the location as an issue? Because
I think that's a real
deal to be able, like...
I think that's a real thing. I mean, the flight from Seattle to Tokyo is probably, I don't know, what, 8 or 9 hours at most?
I mean, if you sign the biggest deal,
if you go to Atlanta, even if that then becomes like a 16-hour flight home. You know,
it
like
does,
I think it's something to consider. I don't think it's BS.
You're about to sign like the largest deal in history, and I mean, I know that doesn't change the travel time, but it makes the travel a little bit easier.
Still gotta get home and see mom and pop.
That's true.
You know? So I think it plays a part. I
like being close to home also. You know, I'll take a nice 12-year, $200 million deal to stay closer to home, guys. It's fine.
Mrs. Ohtani might make like a killer comfort ramen bowl, that he misses every once in a while.
Mrs. Ohtani sounds all right with me.
So if the Red Sox are out, the Phillies might as well just put their name in the arena as being out. Like there's no realistic possibility. The Braves, I guess, are a dark horse. I guess the Cubs are a dark horse. And I forget who it was that was saying, are the Cubs close? Ohtani certainly would change things. They also have like 4 of the top 20 prospects in baseball.
Yeah.
So they have that young pipeline that's about to come through. And, they had Dansby and a couple guys have good years. And Nico Horror, or not Nico, who's the second baseman? Don't they have a young second baseman, Tyler? I'm blanking on the Cubs. Anyway, regardless, the Cubs aren't like championship close, but they're about to be a lot better.
Are you talking about the guy that just won the Gold Glove?
Yes.
Nico Horner.
Yeah. Okay. So I doubted myself. Yeah. All right. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. I thought
I was brain farting.
I thought you were
had a lot of bourbon
yesterday. I'm like, whoa, am I missing somebody? I'm pretty good with names, but is your road to the show guy that we don't know about? Play second base for the Cubs.
So you think the dark horse in the Shohei Ohtani signing is the Texas Rangers? Why do you think that?
One of two things are going to happen. Texas is going to stay far, far away because of all these names that I'm about to mention. And the other one is they're going to sign him because of all these names. So the Rangers just won a World Series. If they're going to expedite the roster that they have as currently constructed and they're going to go for broke, the Rangers right now have like 9 guys that are on actual adjusted salaries. $193 million are on 9 guys. But the thing that is good for them is Jacob deGrom's at 40 and Max Scherzer's at 43. Now, with these 2 guys,
I keep forgetting they have DeGrom, too.
They're just about out of their contract, right? I think Scherzer's DeGrom's not. DeGrom's got 3 more years, but Scherzer's getting close to the end of his contract. They're going to have a lot of money. They already have a lot of money because of this. But I'm going to give you some names, and these are all players that are currently still arbitration eligible, which means they have a window of opportunity to do something ridiculous by signing Shohei Ohtani.
Garcia's one you mentioned, right?
Adolis Garcia,
yeah.
ARB 1. Jonah Heim, ARB 1. Oof. Dane Dunning, ARB 1. Leotis Taveras, ARB 1. Josh Spores, ARB 1. Now we get to the guys that are pre-arbitration. Evan Carter, guy was a revelation for them this season. Ezekiel Duran.
I think he's somewhat local, isn't he, Carter?
I don't know.
Yeah,
but anyway. Those 2 guys, Josh Young, these are all guys that are either pre-arb or arbitration. They have 3 to 4 to 5 years of controllable contracts with these guys.
Yeah.
If you're going to go for broke, this is the spot to do it. And I think Shohei Ohtani would make a ton of sense for the Texas Rangers, especially considering the fact that they could potentially be, a 3- and 6-year type team if they make this happen.
Yeah, it is wild when you think about it. I mean, first of all, Shohei Ohtani wants to win now. He's been in the league long enough. He doesn't want to be a part of a build or anything else. Otherwise, he would just stay with the Angels. He's looking to be a part of a team that can right now be in the conversation for, winning a World Series. As we're talking about, I can't help but laugh at you guys. Always drop the funniest things in the chat, so I just want to quickly throw that out there. As Tyler was making those excellent points, I agree with you, hypothetical man. Also, some excellent points that were made in the chat that we cannot overlook. Mickey Durkin, Renee Ohtani. It sounds like a great ring to it. I like it,
kind of flows,
right?
Yeah.
Renee Ohtani.
Yeah, it flows.
Sorry, Eugene Krabs. It doesn't flow as well as Renee P. Harold Krabs. Although my middle initial is P, which is funny you remembered that.
Wait. We have to guess now.
Wait, I told you my middle name.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember.
Yours is Edward, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. How do you remember
Because I pay attention.
Evan Carter's from Tennessee. I was thinking of somebody else. P. Tyler, you got any guesses? You want to go first?
Nobody listens to me.
All right, so it's
apparently not. Tyler didn't know either.
Is it like a fairly common name, or is it a family name, or?
No, it's fairly common.
Okay.
Like, it's not one that's like this random P name that doesn't make sense. Like, you've heard of some people with the name.
You're not a Penelope.
No. If you guys remember in the chat, Eugene Krabs remembers my initial, but it is also in my handle. It's like Renee P. Washington. Like,
yeah.
But if you remember, I know we had this conversation because you told me your middle name's Edward.
Yeah, clearly we did, and I don't remember.
Clearly,
James Edward Lynch Jr. Come on.
I'm like,
AKA Jamie.
I'm feeling real stupid. Tyler, there is no Zulli, says Patricia.
It is Patrice. I'm going to give you that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. See,
All right.
I know we've had this conversation before. Tyler, I don't know if you told me your middle name, actually.
This now. Phyllis. You don't look like a Phyllis.
Renee Phyllis. That's me.
All right, anyway, sorry.
Wait, Tyler, what's your middle name really quickly in the circle of trust?
Charles.
Charles.
That was my confirmation name after my dog Chucky.
Which is why I feel like we had that conversation. We did
Yeah.
have that conversation because you literally said that. And I remember being confused. Yay, everybody knows it's okay. Thank you, guys.
We did
All right, so moving on. I'm glad we know each other that much better now. Tyler Charles and James Edward and Renee Phyllis.
You would be RPO. Mickey Durkin makes a good point. You'd be RPO.
Gosh, I love it. Like, let's make it happen. Go tell Shohei. And you know what? I'll help him get home quicker. I'll go with you. I'll be supportive. And you guys won't even see me on the show ever again. I'll be out of here. Don't worry. All right, so just some updates. According to ESPN, many GMs expect my future husband is going to choose a team fairly quickly. The expectation, and I'll let you know, I'll chat with him and let you guys know. All joking. Please don't think I'm talking to Shohei. But there's expectations he's going to sign before the winter meetings end December 6th.
But what if he slid in those DMs?
If Shohei slid in my DMs, first of all, you would not see me again. I'd be out buying like a wedding dress.
For the foreseeable future, Jamie, Tyler, you guys are on your own.
You got it. If I disappear, you know who slid in my DMs, okay? Shohei did.
What up? Slide in the DMs, bro.
There are... If you're watching, if you're listening, my DMs are always open. Shohei only, though. And there are some others that I could weasel in there as well. So there are some teams out here that are playing the long game, and I'm all for it. So teams like the Giants, who are saying they probably can't outbid teams like the Dodgers, but they're going to do all they can to throw everything in the kitchen sink out there just to raise the prices.
Yeah,
and I'm
desperate.
I'm all about playing the game within the game. If you can get some teams to maybe pay a little more, whatever. I don't know what that means for you, but why not try to it's a bidding war. It's fun. We like this. So it's a lot of excitement right now as we continue to just watch the rumors swirl and try to figure out which makes most sense. One thing that always makes sense for you guys, though, is being able to shop at FOCO, because FOCO is and I forget if I was FOCO or Game Time, but it's
no,
fine.
You're good.
Whatever. FOCO is a place that as you're going to support, whether it's my future husband, your favorite teams, whatever it is you're looking to support, FOCO's got all types of collectibles, bobbleheads. They've actually been staying up. They always stay up with all the latest news to drop merch that fits whatever's going on at that point. So apparel, any sort of shirts, slippers, they've got it all there at FOCO. Use that code PHLY that's on your screen for 10% off. Again, for those listening across podcast platforms, I may be joking about being Renee Shohei Ohtani, but I'm not joking about FOCO. Use that code PHLY, get 10% off your purchase, and be able to buy and rock some great merch out at your favorite games, tailgates, around the house, by the fire pit, wherever it is you're hanging out with your buddies to rock their merchandise.
By the way, I don't smell like smoke, do I?
I didn't smell you, so no.
Okay. You want to take a whiff? You want to take a hit?
Oh, you do actually have a smoky smell.
Well, I wore this by the fire pit.
Oh, it's the charcoal. Oh, I love that smell.
Okay. But I was hoping it wasn't overpowering.
The smell of like logs and charcoal. It's great. What kind of fire? Was it
I have a solo
propane
stove.
One or like a
wood.
log?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm smelling the wood burning.
I got a wood guy.
I'm smelling the wood burn.
He delivers me a half cord every once in a while. I love burning wood. I love burning stuff.
I love that smell. Yeah. Oh, classic. So classic.
Another rumor that's out there that's actually in a positive maybe light for the Phillies, I guess, unless you're MBD in the chat, who might combust. So this one was from Bob Nightingale. Now, the Braves were mentioned not only with Ohtani, but also with Nola. Damn it. This one from Bob Nightingale actually has the Phillies involved. And he says that while starting pitcher Blake Snell would prefer to go back to his hometown Seattle Mariners, they don't really have a need for starting pitching, which, as Tyler and I said before the show, is kind of BS because every team has a need for starting pitching. I think that what that means is they don't want to spend the $200 million on Blake Snell when, you know, they probably have some young guys they believe in, and they can spend money elsewhere. But Bob Nightingale goes on to say he thinks the Phillies are the favorite to land him. I know we've made reference to MBD in the chat. He's going to hate this because you are going to be talking about probably $200+ million for 7 years. As we've talked about before, he's only the 7th pitcher, presumably he's going to win the Cy Young this year, to win a Cy Young award in each league.
Insane.
Which is pretty insane company. Tyler, actually, can you find that list of the 7 guys to win it in both? I'm sure Nolan Ryan's won, Tom Seaver's won.
The Cy Young list?
No, the both league Cy Young list. Yeah. I just want to buzz through that because that's kind of fun. Now, Nightingale did go on to say that Blake Snell is a guy that has pitched in low-key cities in his career. He's been in Tampa and San Diego. Is he prepared for a city like Philadelphia? Because we're psychopaths. Yeah, we are. I think it's something to consider. And here's the list of guys to win it in both leagues.
Yeah. So you were. It was. Who did you say it was?
I said Nolan Ryan and Seaver.
No. So actually, neither of them did it.
Wow.
Here's the list, starting to most recently. Max Scherzer is the most recent one to do it. Roy Halladay has done it. Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, and Gaylord Perry.
Okay. Much more modern than I would have realized, but I guess that speaks to free agency and all, whatever. Interesting list. And so Blake Snell's going to get paid. Phillies, Bob Nightingale believes, are the favorites to bring him in. How does that make you feel, Renee? All warm and tingly? And Blake Snell and Zach Wheeler?
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty exciting.
It is exciting. It is. I mean, listen, we at one point heard Sonny Gray was the leading prospect to fill Aaron Nola. Yeah. So if and when, because it's definitely looking like it's going to happen, that Nola's not coming back.
Sure
It definitely does. You want to make sure that whatever starting pitcher comes in is someone that you are encouraged by. Now, Blake Snell being so interested in going to Seattle and Seattle not being interested back in Snell because they don't want to bring in a starting pitcher is just very interesting in itself. But, you know, when that report comes out from Nightingale and talking through the fact that, Blake Snell, according to a number of different reports, has been continuously brought up in conversations around the Phillies. So he did say, it was reported last Sunday, multiple GMs predict that Snell will sign with the Phillies. Of course, you know, all these guys have been having conversation over bourbon and whiskey and by the fireplace as well, maybe, that they've been having this conversation. So I start to believe when it's like multiple GMs, multiple sources are saying it. And as you mentioned, as a favorite, because the Phillies do believe that he's the best option to fill the void at the top of the rotation.
I'd agree with that.
And I agree with that. So I know not all of you are on the bandwagon, the Blake bandwagon, and a number of you, Mickey Durkin, you're saying you take Montgomery over Snell in your opinion. Ash, you're saying you just want your money. Rick, you're saying Blake Snell, ? Where's MBD? We don't know, Rick. If you can find somebody send out
he might have read this Nightingale report.
The MBD signal, because we lost him here for sure. But yeah, I think Blake Snell would be a great fit. Just looking at Aaron Nola not coming back. And so
two-thirds of the top of your rotation would be left-handed, which would be weird and different, but that's cool.
I'm still on the
as the chat
Corbin
points out, and I can't believe this, Nolan Ryan never won a Cy Young.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah, everyone in the chat is like, everybody. If we learn nothing else today,
that's the takeaway from today. Is that Nolan
every show we give you one nugget of information. It might not always be baseball related, but today's nugget, it's like Sesame Street. Today's nugget of information is brought to you by Nolan Ryan, not ever winning a Cy Young
award. You guys
award.
want to add to that too? Nolan Ryan actually only finished second once.
What?
Well, here's the thing. I mean,
the thing I'm reading says a lot of this is attributed to his high walk rate.
Yeah, he led the league in walks. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times in 11 seasons.
Well, that's because he also pitched 332 innings one year.
Well, yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's insane.
He led the league in strikeouts. Over a 7-year period, he led the league in strikeouts 6 of those 7 years.
Oh my god!
He led the league in ERA twice. The man pitched for 4 decades.
383 strikeouts 1 year, as Greg MC's pointing out in the chat.
I don't give a damn about walks when you're buzzing almost 400 guys down a year. That's wild. I didn't. I don't think I knew that. You'll learn this about me, in the off season. I love obscure Tony Gwynn stats. I just saw one this weekend. It was Tony Gwynn faced Greg Maddux 78 times in his career. And didn't strike out once. There's all these just insane baseball factoids. Now Nolan Ryan never winning a Cy Young will be tattooed on my brain as how the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
That's wild. So we derailed, but yes.
Wow.
Yeah, Blake Snell tied to the Phillies in a positive way. You know what else is a positive, Renee? Game Time app. And then the holiday season is coming up. So if you want to get your loved ones, friends, family, whoever, a great gift to their favorite comedian or concert or sporting event. We're looking at a stand-up comedian in February, my wife and I, Nate Bargatze.
I love going to a comedy show.
Yeah, comedy shows are the best.
So fun. Especially when you're not close to the stage. You don't have to worry about being picked out.
But right now, if you can get $20 off your first purchase with code PHLY. I recently just started using the Game Time app, and I like it better than all the other ones. That's for damn sure, because buying tickets to your favorite events should not be a stressful thing. Game Time is the fast, easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. They have killer last-minute deals to your favorite events with a best price guarantee. You can stop stressing and start getting hyped for the fun you're going to have. The favorite aspect of the Game Time app that I loved when we went to a stand-up comedy show was being able to see your seat. And are you far enough away from the stage? Mm-hmm. Do you have a good sight line? Am I by an aisle or a row so I can get out to the bar or bathroom if I need to? Because you don't really want to be getting up in a comedy show. So all these things are great. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed.
Well, it is wild to me how fast our show goes by, because I swear we always come into this what should we talk about today? And then it takes us 45 minutes almost to get through our first 2 topics. So let's roll through some other things before we, deep dive. And of course, we still have to do Guess That Ballpark. Apparently, we have to do it.
I think they've all been tough.
They've all been incredibly difficult. But just a quick update, some more positives as Buster Olney shut down the Nick Castellanos rumors.
Yeah.
We did have, obviously, last week in our show, we talked about when it broke. Faizan was one that shared it for MLB.com, that Nick Castellanos possibly being rumored to be shopped out.
I think definitely Dave Dombrowski was making calls.
Yes, was making some calls, but now only has said, according to a Philly source, that they aren't interested in moving Nick Castellanos. They consider him an important part of the team. They value his production and have no intention of trading him. People in the comments on Twitter were ecstatic and excited at that news, and I think everybody could sigh a little breath of relief, because as much as the NLCS was frustrating, Nick Castellanos is a big part of this team. He's Casty clutch. He's Chef Casty. So, I think to me that was a encouraging thing, that maybe they did shop him out there a little bit, but ultimately, as we had hoped, decided to keep him and not be interested in trading him.
So they say.
So they say. You know what? How many times have we heard that before? Or somebody doesn't think they're going to get traded, and all of a sudden they wake up to, oh, by the way, you're now moving to blank city.
Yeah, well, there's a couple advanced analytical nerd things that are concerning about Castellanos' direction in terms of barrel rate, chase rate. Couple things are kind of trending in the wrong direction, but other teams know that as well. So, the thing with Nick Castellanos is you're giving him up and might have to give up or eat some of that money to get something kind of minimal in return. At best, he could get you a bullpen arm, I would think, maybe a prospect outfielder. Mm-hmm. So is it really worth it? 3 years, $60 million left on that deal. I think that's palatable. I'm not the one writing the checks. But to me, it makes sense to keep him because he's not really going to give you much. He's not going to get you much in return. And do you really want to pay part of his salary for another team's benefit just to free up some money to spend elsewhere. Like, I don't know. Like, I think he's the most likely of the outfielders to get. Actually, I wouldn't even say that. I would say Brandon Marsh is the most likely to get moved. But I just don't. It doesn't pass the smell test kind of for me because he doesn't bring you enough in return to execute it. So I think it makes sense that he's going to be here. Mickey Durkinson, I think his walk rate is less than 10%.
I thought you were talking about RPC, Renee Patrice Castellanos, because you guys are still pimping me out to all the baseball players. So thanks. I mean, if I needed a matchmaking show, apparently this was it. But
my daughter's teacher is a big Nick Castellanos fan, and not for his baseball performance. So when I saw her on Friday, she asked me, she goes, "Well, what's this I'm hearing about Castellanos?" And I was like, "Miss Kelly, don't worry. I don't think it's legit. I think they're just making calls. I think your man will be here." And she was like, "Okay, good. Okay." So Nick Castellanos, don't worry, ladies. He's most likely going to be around.
His walk rate, less than 10%. Mickey, yes, it is 6.3% thanks to Tyler grabbing that really quickly, 5.2 and 5.4 in Philly.
That's not great.
So although his walk rate is not great, he won't be walking out of Philly anytime soon, hopefully, fingers crossed. So we'll keep an eye on that. Another thing that we're keeping an eye on, Rhys Hoskins. Unfortunately, as we know, his days here are very much numbered, and there have been reports. This weekend was so many different reports from so many different outlets, and it's wild how many people have been just keeping tabs. I love it. So according to Patrick Mooney and Sahadev Sharma of The Athletic, the Cubs consider free agent first baseman Rhys Hoskins to be a good fit for their roster. And they also are saying they feel like he would be a great addition because of his postseason experience. We all know about that postseason experience. And his likely openness to a short-term contract. And then, of course, his agent, Scott Boras, who's Bora has been out here working his butt off, acknowledged that there is potential for a pillow contract for Hoskins this offseason. And, of course, he made that statement known last week during the GM meeting. So the Cubs, who we've heard also in the conversation with the player like Ohtani maybe, interested, actively working to possibly bring in Rhys Hoskins also. There's been a number of teams that have been listed for him, such as the Angels, the Dodgers, the Blue Jays. There's been a number of teams that have been seen as some top prospects for Rhys Hoskins. I don't know where he's going, but do you think we're booing him next year?
No. It's tough because he's a DH. Like, let's be honest. He's not really a first baseman. The Cubs, possibly could make a lot of sense, but I believe one of their top prospects is a first base kid that I don't know if they want to throw into the fire just yet. So if Rhys is available in that 1 or 2 year kind of bridge deal to this kid, maybe that's a good scenario for them. I think Rhys Hoskins is going to be like kind of a quasi bargain, especially if he's taking that 1 or 2 year deal. We'll see how much he wants to bet on himself. I'm sure Boras is going to push him for a 2 year deal as opposed to a 1, just to get some more guaranteed money, because he is 30. I think he's about to be 31, if I'm not mistaken.
He's because he's the same age as me. He's 30, about to be 31.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's an ACL, and ACLs are so common anymore. I think he'll bounce back fine. But a guy that can hit you 28 to 33 home runs, gives you really good at bats. The problem is you don't really want him playing in the field. He can bring a lot of value to a team. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. If he goes to the Cubs, I wouldn't mind that, just personally as a fan, because the Cubs are baseball to me. You know what I mean? So it's not like a team you hate or anything. It's just like you get to watch Rhys Hoskins hit homers in Wrigley Field. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. But, he's most definitely gone.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, also tonight we will find out who is the 2023 Rookie of the Year. We saw, obviously, last year was Julio Rodriguez of Seattle. It was Michael Harris, second of Atlanta. Who will it be this year, Jamie? What's your predictions? Who do you think's winning?
I think the NL is definitely going to Corbin Carroll, and I would say the AL is most likely definitely going to Gunnar Henderson. I don't know.
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be them.
Tyler, any disagreements there? I don't know what the odds would be on those two, but Corbin Carroll's got to be like minus 10,000.
Yeah, I would imagine it's I would. It's crazy to say. I almost feel like Gunnar Henderson has better odds than Corbin Carroll, which is
they're both
gorgeous because
locks.
Corbin Carroll's a lock.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to watch tonight. I think
I think those are the two.
Tomorrow knowing these two guys are. If something crazy happens, you're going to go, what the?
I don't see a world where one of them don't win it.
Kodai Senga is not going to come out of the woodwork and win NL Rookie of the Year.
No.
Tanner Beebe is a great young arm for the Guardians, which is still weird to say. But he's not going to beat out Gunnar Henderson. So the two of those guys are pretty much locks.
They're in a league of their own, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, it does at least get announced tonight, 6 p.m., so we'll get the official verdict. But if anybody's watched baseball with even one eye half open, it's Corbin Carroll, it's Gunnar Henderson. Okay, so also this around Philly, it's been an exciting time. The Eagles and the Sixers both sitting at 8-1. Sixers had a great win. I enjoyed doing the post-game show. They won their 8th straight. I was on that last night.
Tyrese Maxey, I guess he was a talking point after the show.
Tyrese Maxey putting up a nice 50 burger on him.
And then
gosh,
Joel
it felt
Embiid
so
just
nice.
like 37 and
People
13
were like, Joel Embiid had a bad game. He nearly had a triple-double with 37 points. But also post-game, it was nice to see they did the Pat Bev and Tyrese Maxey had a little celebration as my buddy Taryn Hatcher was interviewing Maxey. And it was very daycare-esque of some fun. It was, just like the daycare does. And so it was like a little tribute almost to the daycare. Hopefully
and Tyrese,
they can continue winning.
It's such an adorable, fun-spirited guy. And he gives a shout-out to Kelly Oubre after the game. And he said, this wasn't me. This was for Kelly. That's my dog. I love him. Awful situation in Center City Saturday night. Apparently, the car was traveling at a pretty high speed of rate at Broad and Locust there when he got clipped. So he's got some broken ribs, some cuts, some probably heavy bruising.
Yeah.
Leg
injury.
Yeah, it didn't say season ending, but I would be surprised if we see him maybe before the All-Star game.
Yeah, well,
it's really terrible situation.
It's awful. Kelly Oubre's been playing so well.
Yes,
and, I know I was waiting for the other shoe to fall, nervous. But to have the mirror of the driver's side hit him so hard that it fractured his ribs.
Is that what it was, the mirror?
Yeah, it was the mirror that clipped him. And the person drove away in a silver car, as everything has reported. And so, I know Nick Nurse was saying he was home. He's back home. He's expected to be back out at practice on Tuesday.
Broken
just to be there.
Terrible.
It's awful because you can't breathe. You don't realize how much you need your ribs for. And then they're going to reevaluate him next week for an updated timeline. But it is tough to see. I will say, I love the fact that Tyrese gave him that shout out. Tyrese is really emerging more and more. We've got Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. And, of course, there's other likable players on every team, but Jalen Hurts, Bryce Harper, it's been Joel Embiid. But Tyrese Maxey is really emerging also as that face of the franchise that's just so fun and likable for sure.
What's really cool to see with Embiid, and I think this speaks to his maturing and becoming a leader, is how much he's showing love and appreciation for Tyrese.
Yes.
Like, it was really cool to see him hugging him and just genuinely smiling at Tyrese's success, because after the game, Joel was like, yeah, I mean, that guy's energy is always positive and always great. I come in at 7 a.m. and he's here already smiling and laughing. Yeah. And that's really probably mentally great for Embiid to have his number 2 now. Because if you think about it, Ben Simmons and him were oil and water. And James Harden, Jimmy Butler he loved, but, that ended poorly. And then James Harden was, he played the part fine when he was here, but like that, I don't know if Joel Embiid really believed that like James Harden was, as dedicated to the team goal as maybe.
He still is not, as he was just out after a game
it's nice for
club.
It's nice for Joel to see like that reciprocation of effort and want to from his counterpart. And I mean, he's a legit number 2 star next to another star. And, that was always the question, was can he elevate more? Because I kept being like, this kid keeps getting better and better. And his 3-point percentage is the most amazing thing about him, how much he's improved. I think he shot 30% at Kentucky when he was there. And now he's one of the league leaders and, averaging like 8 or 9 threes a game. Like, the kid is awesome. And he's so refreshing. We are lucky with our stars.
We are lucky. I know, Eugene, you're dropping your top 5 in the chat. John, you're saying Pat has won you over. Money Mar, I know you were in the post-game show yesterday. Nice to see you again as well. it is great because for any team, your top two players, and my coaches used to always say this, have to have like almost a marriage where you guys can work together. You pick and choose of who's leading when. It's a partnership. And unfortunately, the past marriages for Joel Embiid were not great and were very toxic. And so now he finally has found his other half in Tyrese Maxey. And I love the way that the two of them have been working together. The pick and roll game looks good. Their half court offense as a whole looks good. And so it's fun because we finally are feeling, that change. So if you're, definitely want to give our well wishes to Kelly Oubre, of course, and hope that he has a healthy recovery. And also want to just take this time to tell you guys about Hero Bread. I won't get into my witty transitions because, out of that Kelly Oubre, I don't want to be witty. But telling you guys about Hero Bread. Now, Hero Bread is the place to go be able to eat right, delicious, healthy while you're doing it. And over at Hero Bread, they've got some great soft, fluffy options that are high fiber, ultra low net carbs, 0 gram sugar per slice. And they allow you to be able to, whether it's your sliced breads, your buns, your tortillas, your wraps, whatever it is, when you go to hero.co, which is also, and they're also available on Amazon, using that code PHLY gets you 10% off of your order. Nutritious with fewer calories than the leading national brand. They've taken time to figure out bread that works for everybody, regardless of your allergies, your diets, anything else. You can go over to Hero Bread and be able to check out what they've got. So again, that code is PHLY, gets you 10% off when you go to hero.co, or if you're shopping on Amazon, to get to eat nutritious, delicious, and have some awesome meals, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, thanks to Hero Bread. All right, so we are wrapping up very quickly here, Jamie.
It's time to get tortured.
I know. I don't want to, but so we have.
I enjoy how much because this is like way harder than I thought it was going to be. I enjoy how much you get tortured by it because
as in me, or like us together.
Well, I can deal with being tortured. Like I didn't,
Oh.
I think you were a very good student in life and always wanted to get good grades and put your best foot forward. I don't know if perfectionist is the right word.
I'm a Virgo. I'm absolutely a perfectionist.
So I feel like you sense an inability to be perfect here. So that torture I enjoy because I can tell you're tortured by it.
Oh, thank you, Jamie. Thanks, James Edward. I definitely love. No, you're not wrong.
Exactly.
You're not wrong. NBD, you didn't miss the most important part. You may have missed us talking about Blake Snell because he is right now a favorite for the Phillies.
Bob Nightingale, NBD.
You did not miss that. Yes, Bob Nightingale.
The likely favorite to land your boy Snell.
Okay, so back to Jamie's point, we were playing a terrifying game. This is probably my least favorite part about the entire show because I am a Virgo. Not only do I like perfection, but I also like to be prepared. I don't really like surprises. I don't really like when I'm not in control of things. And this game is very much not in my control. Yes. So we have already had, prior to today, in our last week's episodes, we did Busch Stadium, which neither of us got. We did Fenway, which neither of us got.
Which I'm really mad I didn't get.
We did Yankee Stadium, which Jamie got. And again, I was at least in the right state. Because, again, I had nothing but small stalls to grasp onto.
Do you remember on Friday when you gave the right answer and then doubted yourself and changed your answer?
Petco Park on Friday. I had it correct, guys. I had it correct. That's all that matters. We're just going to stop the sentence there. So let's figure out where we are today. It's like we're traveling around the country, going to different ballparks.
Tyler said this one's hard,
this is like where in the world is Carmen Sandiego of not knowing ballparks.
Oh, my gosh. I loved that game. Did you ever play Carmen Sandiego? Yeah. Too? Oh, yeah. Hey. Okay,
where
I'm nervous.
In the world is Carmen Sandiego?
All right, so.
Jamie bringing some. Wait a minute. We just saw Jamie dancing and singing. Wow.
I used to like that.
That means we're going to get it right today.
So it takes 90s cartoons and that turned into like Sega Genesis games to get Jamie to dance. All right, cool. We're playing Sonic the Hedgehog tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, I love Sonic.
My gosh. Oh, I used to be so good at Sonic on Sega. Do you guys remember playing on Sega?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was so
Sega
nasty.
was my favorite.
Right. I still have Sonic on my phone.
All right, so here's the
really.
Here's the outline today, and guys, I'm going to tell you of the 5 that we've done.
This is the hardest.
This is the hardest one.
Okay, I'm going to get this one. Okay.
Ooh. That's center field, huh? This actually looks like kind of almost as one of the most unique ones we've seen, which maybe makes that harder.
I got it.
Oh.
I got it. And I'm going with my first choice. But I'm not going to say it yet because I don't want Jamie to think and say the same one as me. I think I got it. Okay, actually, no, I don't know. I don't know. All right, drop in the chat what you're thinking.
You were very quick to give an answer. What is the defining feature of this ballpark that you're so adamant about?
I'm gonna go with
it's the center field right center is what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, and I think to me that's what makes it the Rangers Globe Life Field. It's a little bit less than that. It's
I have two in my mind, and it's
Target. I was thinking Detroit also. That was my first that I was going with. But then I feel like it's a little bit too wide.
I'm gonna go with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
It does kind of look like Comerica Park.
I'm gonna go. I think that's the pool.
I'm going Detroit. Final answer. Locked in.
What is it? Chase Field.
I can't wait. Did somebody say it?
Arizona.
Yes, that's mine.
Okay, so you're going Arizona.
Yeah.
Locking that in?
Yeah, final answer. I can't beat myself up over this.
Did somebody say it?
Some good guesses in the chat here.
The answer was guessed correctly in the chat.
It was guessed in the chat?
I'm going with Detroit.
What do we got, Tyler? Comerica, you got one.
Yes! Whoa!
She got one. Look how happy she is.
Yes! Let's go!
Renee got one right, guys. And you know what else where you can get one right? That's at Wheelhouse Cards. Wheelhouse Cards is our go-to gift sports card and apparel shop in the Delaware Valley. Their motto is cards and community, because a love of sports is why we're all here. It unites us all. They carry all of your favorite card brands like Topps Chrome Baseball, Mosaic Football, as well as t-shirts, hats, and hoodies from brands like all the best stuff. Mitchell & Ness, 47 brand, Junk Food, Starter, and one of my personal favorites, Scheib Vintage Sports. Looking to grade your sports card collection? Well, Wheelhouse can hook you up with PSA grading submissions. They also host a ton of different family-friendly events and birthday parties, which would have been my dream as a kid. So stop into either of their stores in Wayne or Westchester. Open 7 days per week at 11 a.m. Use code PHLY to get $10 off any purchase of $25 or more in store. Also, be sure to give them a follow on Instagram at Wheelhouse Cards. Is my partner still dancing to my right, Tyler? Is she still?
I'm a terrible winner.
Yeah. I think we're gonna hear.
This is the biggest gloat trip I've ever seen.
I read the girls' Berenstain Bears a lot at bedtime, and there's one where No Girls Allowed happens because brother and his friends get really sick of Sister Bear's celebrations when she wins and her war dances and whoops. And I feel like you're a little bit of Sister Bear here.
All right, so I will honestly admit, and this is an open, safe space, my family has ultimately said, I don't know what's worse when you lose or when you win, because it's just...
I can see that, yeah.
I carry on, and I like to win. This felt like a win today. If nothing else happens today, I won. I got the ballpark right. I am actively researching. I have no problem admitting that.
Yes.
I have all the ballparks listed. It's still not easy, though. But I want to give a shout out to all those in the chat that believed in me. I'm just kidding. But a few of you guys did get it, Detroit.
Congrats.
It is a very distinct ballpark. And what makes it better is Tyler said this was the most difficult, and I got it right, which means I did better than you.
For today. You won the battle, the war still wages on.
Berenstein, you spelled it wrong, Greg. It's an E-I-N.
He spelled it right.
What?
No,
the Berenstein Bears, the book is with an E-I-N.
No, it's not.
It's
Just
been
couldn't
mispronounced.
let me have 2 wins.
It's been mispronounced. Apparently, it's not the Berenstein Bears, but I'm going back 40 years of muscle memory here. It's actually Bearstan. I believe it's a A-I-N at the end.
What?
Yes, it's a mind-blowing controversy.
Wait, what?
Yes.
My whole childhood's been a lie?
Yes. Berenstain Bears.
Why
Isn't that
did it
wild?
always...
Because it just took off. It took off as Berenstein Bears, and it's Berenstain Bears.
Okay, first of all, this makes me want to go watch it because I definitely grew up on the Berenstain. It's still the Berenstain Bears.
I read my girls my Berenstain Bears.
But they say it. the intro song something with Berenstain Bears?
I never watched it on TV. I was always a reader.
I did both.
Oh, I didn't even know they were
I
want
to play the actual. I'm going to play the show after this. I'm going to watch the show.
I don't know.
I could have sworn if there was a little intro, a little jingle, and I could have sworn they say Berenstain. Maybe they're saying Berenstain. Oh my gosh!
Mind blown.
You know what?
Nolan Ryan didn't win a Cy Young, and the Berenstain Bears. Look at this. We're blowing people's minds today.
I was still happy about my little ballpark win, and here you guys came and
now you're gonna be watching old Berenstain Bears YouTubes.
I used to think I was the sister. I loved her. I loved the Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, so did I. I hope the Berenstain, whoever the authors were, I hope they got the bag because.
Oh my gosh! Where did we all see EIN then? I don't get it.
That's just it was pronounced. It was definitely Steen. According
At one point, I feel like it definitely the books. I remember reading the books.
It's the Mandela effect, Tyler. There is only Zulli.
I feel like I remember reading the books with EIN.
Nope.
Because I used to be so excited.
It was always there. It was just
it.
pronounced Berenstain. It's very.
Oh my
weird.
gosh! Classic books.
Stanley
Classic.
Bears. All right, so
the authors' last names are it's the Berenstain authors.
Yeah.
They just
so
spell
I'm looking
it
up his
AIN.
net worth right now, and take this with a grain of salt because it's Google. What would you guess the net worth of Stanley Berenstain is? Do you think he cashed in for generational wealth?
So they're in the millions.
Yes.
I'm gonna go.
I will confirm that.
I don't even know what makes sense. I mean, the Berenstain Bears.
I would have guessed a little bigger,
Berenstain
honestly.
Bears. I'm gonna go like 100 million.
Oh no.
Wait, I don't know if that's high or low.
That's way high.
Like 53.
Whoa, way high. Yeah, Stanley Berenstain.
Well, if you had spelled it the right or pronounced it the right way, maybe you would have made more money. Berenstain.
His net worth, according to the Google search, is $5 million. I would have thought a little bit more, honestly, but yeah.
Well,
I'll take that,
husband
Stanley.
makes more than $5 million.
Yeah. 35 mil. MBD says no. I would have guessed like 25 to 30 mil because when I was growing up, McDonald's would give out like Berenstain books. Like they partnered. They were big time. The Berenstain Bears.
They were everywhere. They were in every book fair,
I know.
school fairs. They were part of like the school library. You watched it. You read it.
Yeah.
But maybe back then they didn't monetize it the same. I think we've gotten a little more
Probably.
business savvy these days. All right. So lots in the chat. We're all learning a lot today, guys. This is the beauty of the off season because we have chances to talk about
38-75.
the Berenstain Bears, and we're still gonna call it Berenstain. I just really thought it was EIN.
No,
Okay.
I can't change. It's Berenstain Bears.
This is conflicting actually.
Yeah.
We talked about Sega and Sonic. We talked about
I kind of want to go play Sonic.
Nolan Ryan. We talked about a lot of things today. We also talked about the Phillies. So there's a lot going on around Major League Baseball. The trade rumors and the whole free agency discussions continue. We're going to keep an eye on those, just like Clifford. Clifford, the big
I was never a big
dog.
Clifford guy. Yeah.
And Emily Elizabeth. I just thought it was a little much. I didn't like how...
Emily Elizabeth?
Yeah, that was the girl.
No, see.
That owned him.
No? I don't think dogs like when you say own. So let's be a little sensitive to the dogs. They were the parent. She was the parent to Clifford.
She's not the parent. That's what you go by?
I don't know.
You think it's weird to say owned? Like if you buy them.
According to the dogs I talk to, they don't like to
property.
be saying that they are owned.
Other dogs you've talked to.
Hey, look at that. Spiral out. Stanley Berenstain and Janice Moraine Grant were both born in Philadelphia.
We'll have to get them on the show sometime. Although if they're born in 1923, it's 2023. Maybe die on the show.
Yeah. No, I was never a Clifford guy, so I never got into that.
Oh, well.
I know of Clifford, obviously, the big red dog. But
Clifford and...
I don't think there was much depth
What
to
was his
Clifford.
friends' names? I don't know. But make sure you ask your dog friends next time you talk to them.
Yeah,
Curious George. Don Dickerson just dropping all the shows in the chat. Okay.
Curious George Page loves right now.
I love Curious George. Yeah, that's
George is cool.
that's a great kid
He was one of my
for
favorites,
sure.
yeah.
Much better than like Cal, was it? Caillou.
Oh, Caillou's the worst.
Who's the
That
worst?
little
He's
bastard
terrible.
can go to
He's
hell.
so bad. And even Peppa Pig. I'm Peppa Pig.
How dare you, Eugene Crab? Peppa Pig's not bad, except they shit on the dad a little too
Sassy
much.
Pig. Georgie Pig.
They always blame the dad like he's some big fatso
Daddy,
idiot.
blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's a
dad
lot.
gets a bad rap.
He
in that
does.
show.
He does. I know you take that personal. All right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you know what? One day we're
and
going to
Eugene Krabs, that's mean. I am not a grown-up Caillou, you son of a... I'm out of here. Eugene Krabs ruined my day. Screw you, Eugene. I thought we were friends.
I can see you acting like Caillou.
No, that kid sucks. I was a cool kid. I was just like easy. Somebody once at my old job made this isn't the first time I've been called Caillou, made a Caillou doll that looked like me, and they put an IPA in there and a golf tee and like a Phillies hat on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's gold. Oh, man. I'm looking up Caillou again and do a side-by-side image. Oh, you should be Caillou one day.
No, I will not be Caillou. I hate that.
I just hate it the way they don't.
Just fire him to the sun, and I hope they.
Oh, Coco Melon. Oh, my gosh. Ugh. Addicting. Gracie's Corner. Get your kids on Gracie's Corner.
I don't know that one.
It's very cultured. It's so cute. It's diverse. It's all black kids and they're singing and dancing, but it's great.
Cool.
It's different from Gracie's Corner.
Gracie's Corner.
But their songs are much better. It's also YouTube. Their songs are much better than Coco Melon because Coco Melon does things like wash your elbows, wash.
We don't
It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. We're going off the rails here. We're gonna have a show one day where we just talk about the most ridiculous things on the show.
In the Maybe weeds of kids shows.
We need a non.
Bluey is the one to rule them all.
Oh, Bluey's great. Yeah, See, every time I try to end the show, you guys just keep it going because it's been great. All right, guys, we love this. Miss Rachel, Miss Rachel steals.
She's got a dump truck on her, isn't she? The one that like.
Miss Rachel's got some controversy with her because wait, let me make sure I'm talking about the right person. Miss Rachel tried to branch out. My mom's a teacher or retired teacher now, and Miss Rachel used to have partner with people for free.
I was thinking it was a cartoon.
No, Miss Rachel. Oh wait, I actually think of the wrong person. I don't think it's Miss Rachel. It's the other one. There's another woman.
The teacher in Coco Melon. What up?
That's not okay. All right,
thicker than
JJ's
a bowl of oatmeal, Tyler.
Wrap it up.
I think it was Miss Rachel that was controversial. Guys, the last 10 minutes are pure chaos here. I'm pretty sure Miss Rachel's got some scandal there that's going on, and I'm gonna deep dive that and get some more info.
Well, you know what?
It's her or the what's the other one?
Blippi got canceled because of poop videos.
Blippi's weird. I think it's really creepy because it makes kids think it's okay to walk around and talk to these creepy looking adults. And Blippi's very creepy.
It's very, but he had he was a sketch comic when he was coming up, and he made some poop prank videos.
Oh my gosh.
His buddy, and then that came out.
And he got canceled. The internet never dies. Nope, it's always finding your stuff.
Kids. That's the number one lesson to learn. Internet never forgets.
All right. Well, listen, we've got a lot to talk about clearly. And it's not all baseball related. So this is the beauty of PHLY Phillies podcast. You just never know what you're going to get. You might find out Blippi's got poop videos out there that have been leaked on the internet. So for us here at PHLY Phillies podcast, make sure you're giving, not Miss Appleberry.
Miss Appleberry, what up? Eugene Crab knows what I'm talking about.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Tyler's like, end the show. Have a great rest of your Monday. Hopefully we gave you guys lots of nuggets of information. Tidbits you didn't know coming into today. You're leaving here smarter people thanks to us here. Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington saying so long. Have a great rest of your Mondays, and we'll see you back for more chaos, turmoil, and random topics, and some baseball as well here on PHLY Phillies podcast tomorrow. Subscribe, like, follow, and we'll see you more soon.
See ya.